God is my source, God is my power, God is me everything I need. Give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Oh yeah, the simple things for the simple dude. All right, good morning. How we all doing? Good. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I'm the spiritual director of this Center for Spiritual Living. If you're if you're watching online, man, let me start over. Hi, Reverend Michael McMorrow here, Spiritual Director for the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So if you're watching us online or if you're new here in our sanctuary, welcome. We have a little thing we like to do here called Hugs and Handshakes, where we just meet and greet each other, say good morning and what's up. Be batten down the hatches in the back there. So one of our sailors is not paying attention here. All right. Let's just all take a deep, conscious breath. Exhale. allowing ourselves to use the breath to surrender to this eternal now moment, to anchor us in this moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And I appreciate that love. And as I know that this room is filled with this love, and as we recognize it as the basis of why we have all gathered here, that love that is healing, nurturing, and it feeds each and every one of us. That love that brings us into a state of awareness where we understand and appreciate that we all come from that one divine presence and that we are the expression of it. And the wonder and the beauty of it is reflected in each one of us. And it is with a consciousness of appreciation that we share this hour together in which we open our hearts and our mind and let ourselves embrace the idea that the Spirit is going to feed us in a way in which we are blessed, lifted up, and nurtured in expanding our understanding and awareness of how we can live from this truth, from this divine presence. And that is each and everything that unfolds and gives of itself during this hour is a gift. We know the music is a gift. The message is a gift. The greeting that we got from each other is a gift. All that unfolds is that divine saying, yes, you are my beloved. We can be well pleased in ourselves because we are here and who and what we are is a blessing to the universe. So with acceptance that there's a law in this universe that's saying yes to these ideas of who and what we are coming forth into expression, we rejoice in knowing that the words are filled by this divine presence. So as we embrace each other and we embrace this moment in this time, we do so with love as we say together, and so it is. Good morning. We have a wonderful class on Monday night. And when I started the class, I was thinking, oh, this is something I'd like to share with some students, because treatment and meditation is such a wonderful part of our philosophy. Well, the student that I taught is myself. It has shifted my life so drastically. You know, I am forever saying to people, we remember the oneness of life, and we got to know this. But I feel like I took another step up in knowing that that I am God in expression. I am feeling like this is such a wonderful awareness that it kind of took away all the, I don't know what it took away, but because I don't remember it now, but I do feel like things are so much better. Everything is better. I feel like I'm more in charge of being me, and it's wonderful to be me. And I realized that when I was reading Holmes's book, I mean, I've read this book, I mean, over the years, I can't even tell you how many times I've read the same book. All of a sudden, I understand it from a different place. And I realized that when they said this is an infinite process, it is definitely an infinite process. Because where I was 40 years ago with this certainly isn't where I am today. It is so amazing to understand and to know that everything is the divine, everything. And we've been, Andrea and I have been saying back and forth to each other, love it as it is. And I am telling you, sometimes it's challenging to love it as it is, but I know, but I don't feel uncomfortable with even when I don't. Because I realize that we have a perception of life and that we are living this spiritual experience in this perception that we have for ourselves. And that perception, once it knows and understands that all is God, becomes so much clearer. And I feel like I'm not explaining this all totally clearly, but it's getting clearer and clearer. And I would invite you to, I should say, thank you for joining me on this journey. Because I feel like everybody's doing it their way, and it's just the way it's supposed to be. And I love you all just the way you are. And thank you for letting me share that.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Please welcome David and Kent and the band joining. All right. Well, we're thrilled to have our next singer. We were joking in between. We can give her the theme from MASH to sing, and she'd make it sound good. So she's a great singer, and we really appreciate her. Yeah. Try it. You'll see. But we really appreciate that she's here. Please welcome Miss Angela Carol Brown.
Do you ever wonder where it leads? The road that lies before you is a mystery. There are no signs to read. Following your dreams will lead you home. If ever you lose your way and faith's put to the test and you're too afraid to take another step, whenever the sun fades and it's too dark to see, keep on walking. There might be a burden weighing on your back. There might be the highest mountain standing in your path. Carry on with grace, thankful for each day in this life. Whenever you lose your way and faith's put to the test and you're too afraid to take another step, whenever the sun fades and it's too dark to see, keep on walking, keep on. And if the road you're on comes to an end, just close your eyes and keep on walking. Whenever the sun fades and it's too dark to see, keep on walking, keep on walking.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, beloved community. I'm so happy to be here and see you all. I'm going to highlight some announcements. First of all, I want you to know that there is a wonderful practitioner sitting in the back corner of this room. She's holding the high watch. So what that means is she's holding this service and all of us in prayer, knowing perfect unfoldment is taking place right here and right now. She is available for prayer after service. So am I, so is Kathy. Any one of us are here to serve you in that way. So if you'd like prayer for a challenge that you're going through, for greater good, for something wonderful that's going on in your life, let us do that for you. It's our honor to do that. So she's not sleeping back there, taking a nap. She's holding us in prayer. So I don't know if you knew that, but I wanted to let you know. Also, I am taking a fabulous overflowing basket of goods to our women's center at CSUN. It's the food drive that we have as an ongoing service to the community. I just want to invite you to look at the labels before you donate. Some of the items have been expired. I'm not going to send them expired food. So I really appreciate, I know they appreciate, and it's not about me, they appreciate the donations, but I'm looking carefully at the labels to make sure that we're not giving them food that's expired. So just consider that when you're going through your pantry. Also, I want to invite you, if you haven't checked out the bookstore, check out the bookstore. She's got some fabulous items in there. It's kind of revamped if you haven't been here in a while. I just got this very cool emblem pin, lapel pin in the bookstore just this morning. So check it out and see if there's something that tugs on your heartstrings. So Wednesday night, our Wednesday night service is underutilized, folks. It's a wonderful opportunity to be together in community and meditate together. It's really very sacred and very wonderful. So if you're not busy on Wednesday night, come check us out. Also, the teens are having a Valentine's fundraiser. You can pre-order your flower or candy gram for delivery at next week's services. It's $1 for candy and $5 for a rose, and this is helping our teens go to summer camp. So thank you, Nikki, and all the teens for that. We are having a Valentine's-themed meditation on Wednesday, February 14th at 7 o'clock. And our new member discovery class is coming up. By the way, you don't have to wait for the discovery class to become a member. If you're coming here regularly and you're resonating with the teaching and you're feeling like you're a part of this wonderful community, sign up and join us. Become a member. We do ask that you attend the new member discovery class, which we're presenting I think it's just once a year, sometimes twice a year. But it is coming up on Sunday, March 11th at 12:30. So lunch will be served if you sign up in advance for that. There's a note here that's throwing me off a little bit. So it will introduce you to the basic teachings of this philosophy, religion / way of life. It's free, and it is a requirement for you to be a new member. Ultimately, we want you to have the class, but sign up and become a member, please. If you're a regular here, we want you to be a voting member. That's the other thing. If you come to the general membership meeting, which is coming up on Sunday, March 18th, if there's things that we vote on and you're a member, you can have your voice heard in the way of a vote. So I'd like to introduce Margie Robbins, if she would stand up, please. She is our Seva organizer, so if you are drawn towards ushering or helping in the kitchen or folding while unfolding our brochures, see her for a service commitment. And also Judy Dunkley, our practitioner, is now in charge of the lay pastoral care, where we go visit people who are housebound or in hospital. So thank you for that, Judy. Please see her if you're interested in serving in that way. I feel like I'm taking a really long time up here. I'm sorry, because I know you told me to be brief. But there's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, that was last week. There's a lot going on here, as you can see. I think I covered all of it. Oh, there's also an opportunity for you to have your conscious giving donated to the church automatically through your bank. So you can sign up for regular automatic credit or debit card contributions to the center on whatever kind of a timeline you are interested in. I'd like to make you aware that Suzanne Jensen, who is on vigil in the back, is our head practitioner. And again, Judy is our lay pastoral care coordinator, and Margie is our SEVA coordinator. On Monday, I'm just reading this. On Monday, a few of our members casually shared one of our Facebook posts. Normally, our daily message is seen by an average of 50 to 100 people. Because this handful of people shared, it was seen by 1,400 people. And that number is increasing. So it's much easier for us to grow our membership and meet our future goals when our message is shared beyond these walls. So you can make a difference just by sharing Facebook posts and spreading the word, maybe bringing a friend to church. I think we should have Bring a Friend Sunday every now and then. I mentioned the bookstore. If you have any photos of events that you've attended here at the center, please send them to Erin in the main office there so that she can share them with our community. And please continue to keep your contact information updated. There's usually a slip in the program for that purpose. Thank you for being here.
His presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul, forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the goodness of life to all.
I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Yeah, yeah. Well, I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Yeah, yeah. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul, God is so good. My God is so good to me. My God is so, my God is so, my God is so good to me.
I think you guys are having too much fun on that song. All right, let's give Angela some more love for that beautiful song. Yes, thank you for that. And yeah, so today's talk title is Religion, Who Needs It? Today's date, of course, is February 4th in the year of Super Bowl 52. I'm sure they've already had several hours of coverage. Well, what do you think, Jim? Well, let me tell you what I've been telling you for the last 3 weeks, Steve. Yeah. All right, so today's talk title, and our theme for February, self-awareness is not enough. That's going to be interesting to explore that through the month of February. So, and today's talk has been influenced by many sources, one of them being a great podcast, if you listen to podcasts, entitled On Being with Krista Tippett, and her guests, a couple different podcasts, but Kevin Kelly, who, for those of you who are recovering hippies, if you remember the Whole Earth catalog from the 70s and 80s, yeah, so maybe even the 60s. So he put that together, and then he went on to found Wired magazine, and now he's known as their Maverick-in-Chief. And he's a philosopher essayist. And then also she did another podcast with Imam Abdullah Antepli and Rabbi Sarah Basin, who are doing some great interfaith work over in West Los Angeles. And also Father Richard Rohr and Ernest Holmes, the guy who put this little thing together, and Father Richard Rohr and Pierre de Chardin. So it's kind of been a really, I went looking for one thing, and then I'd get on the internet, and then I'd end up over here trying to verify this and that, and oh gosh, down the rabbit hole I went. So here I am, spit out on this end, and we'll see what happens. So, and the other thing is that our talk notes have been prepared for us today by Reverend Gerd Pontow, and he has started a teaching chapter in Johannesburg, South Africa. So he's put things together for us today as well. So, and the question he asked is, what is religion? So I'll get to that. But to me, I was thinking, religion, who needs it? Because in my ramblings through the internet this week, I came across an interesting fact, and that is in the 1950s, 80% of Americans reported going to church on a regular basis. 80%. Christian churches, Catholic, Christian, Protestant. 80%. Today that number is half, 40%. And so we can think what we like about that statistic, but if this number is even close to true, it would inform us a lot about the outward condition that we are seeing today. So think about that. 80% of people are looking at the world through the same viewpoint and perspective, the same moral construct, the same structure of knowing. So, now the interesting thing about that is that church attendance is half of that today, 40%. And when I went to verify this number, 40% is generous. It's actually more like 20%. So it turns out that people are like fibbing about going to church, it sounds like. So, or maybe it's just kind of like, gee, I think I went a couple times last year, and it was like 3 years ago. Who knows? It's just down. It's at least half. All right? So I think this is really interesting, but check this one out. So 40% say they go to church, looks more like 20. And at the same time, 9 out of 10 people say they believe in God or some spiritual power, some universal power. 9 out of 10, that's 90%. So 90% of people say they believe in God, 20% go to services. And what's the fastest growing segment in religion in the United States? Outside of capitalism, of course. But outside the the largest segment, spiritual, not religious. 8% growth in the last 5 years. That's a lot. So, in fact, that's like a third of us. So 27%, this is a Pew study from last year, of the Americans who responded. 27% consider themselves spiritual, not religious, which might be a lot of us. So, so to me, you know, what inquiring minds want to know is why? Why? Where are they? 90% believe in God, 20% go to services. And I think the answer to that is that it's a very complex dynamic that's going on. For one thing, there's a lot more to do on Sundays now. So it used to be like when I was a kid, the stores weren't even open, right? So you couldn't go shopping. So if you're not going to go to shop, you might as well go to church, see what everyone else is wearing. So, but also, I think people are tired because they're working hard, man. I think people are just working hard, and they need Saturday to run around and take care of stuff, and then on Sunday they just need to have a spiritual experience with the LA Times or something. I don't know. But so I just think about my own process, see how this fits for you. So I grew up in a denomination. I went off to college, and then I cast the whole thing off. Now I was an altar boy till I left home and went off to college. So I was like immersed in it. And then after I got out of the house, like, whew, don't have to do that anymore. So when I had the money, I would go skiing on Sundays. And off to college I went and just cast the whole thing off for several years until I found a place that was more higher power oriented. So it was kind of God-ish, if you will. And then I had kids, and then I came back to the denomination, right? So somebody's got to teach them moral stuff. You know, I don't have time for that. So take them to church, let them do it, right? And then, but just felt like I just left disillusioned, man. I just felt like a bunch of stuff. I'm just being stuffed with things that it was hard to sit in the pew, frankly, until finally I came across religious science, and then connected to the message, connected to the teacher, connected to the people, and the music. And through that experience, if the term existed at the time, I think I would have said of myself that I was spiritual and not religious. So what was going on with me was that I had a lot of questions. So maybe this is going on out there. You know, what is the true faith? What's the true faith? The absolute. I don't want to be caught up in some false teaching. Right? Why don't I get ahead? I'm a good guy. I work hard. Where's mine? What's up with birth defects, God? How about war? Why is there still war? How come some churches have so much wealth? Not this one. But how come some churches have so much wealth? Why do I feel empty when I go to church? Or maybe even more importantly, why do I feel empty when I leave church? So what is the answer? And so this guy, Kevin Kelly, asked this question. I think I need to do something here. Let's try this. Yeah. So Kevin Kelly, this guy with the Whole Earth Catalog, says this. It's really likely that the universe is really a kind of question rather than the answer to anything. The universe is really a kind of question rather than an answer to anything. So if this is so, then how does this whole idea of spiritual, not religious, square with that? So we go around with questions looking for answers when the answer very well appears to be within the question itself. And so that the dilemma then is finding a safe place. This is what I think. The dilemma is, where can I find a safe place to explore these questions, these deep questions, together in a safe place? Now, this is a very difficult enterprise if you are an institution that insists on absolutism. And I think maybe this is why we're seeing a fall off outside of the can't be bothered. So now maybe let's back up now and ask ourselves, so what is religion? What is religion? And Ernest Holmes said this, the guy who put this teaching, this philosophy together, that religion, Holmes said, means our attitude towards God, that this attitude is based upon our concept of the relationship which exists between God and the universal spirit. God, the universal spirit, and man, the individual spirit. That religion then is a personal spiritual experience knowing God, whatever we may call it, as mother, father of all, and human beings then, and human beings as brothers and sisters. So within this awareness of a relationship of the Godhead with man lies the potential of discovery that there is an innate oneness of man with the Creator. And then from the science of mind perspective then, Holmes speaks to this idea as a concept of oneness, that all people are individualized centers of God consciousness and spiritual power, as complete as they know themselves to be. And they know themselves only as they comprehend their relationship to the whole. Now this, to me, is a very broad invitation that really doesn't have much dogma in it. So there's no commandments, there's no moral teaching, there's really not even a moral authority per se. But what it is saying is, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think God is? What do you think an experience of the divine is? What does it have within it? So in this way then, maybe religion then is more of a vessel that holds spirituality. Rather than spiritual, not religious, maybe the religion then is the vessel that, and the vessel, of course, is you and me, right? You and me holding this thing and then the teaching working in it, right? And at the same time knowing that in this idea of Godhead by definition, that there's really no boundary either. Right, so that it's both the center and the circumference simultaneously, which is a pretty wild thought. So religion is a vessel that holds spirituality. That's that gal, Krista Tippett. I really like her. She's a deep thinker. So our particular vessel then we call religious science. And in thinking about religious science, I think it's important to keep in mind two key concepts even before belief system. And that is that this must be a safe place where the deepest questions of existence can be entertained, especially with those whom we disagree. Especially those. Right? For agnostics to explore. Even unbelievers to explore. That we together must have a commitment that this is going to be an aspect of our community, and that we as spiritual community, number two, must stay committed to creating an atmosphere of transformation through our own lives as the demonstration of the divine at work, rather than proselytizing a belief system that we ourselves do not practice. So there's not this teaching, I always, myself and our ministers and practitioners, we ponder, this is such a dynamite teaching, such a dynamic teaching, particularly in this human potential movement. Now, here's kind of a spiritual component to it. Why aren't these churches full? All of them. And I think the answer to that is that we all want to be transformed. We all want to be transformed. We just don't want to be inconvenienced. Right? So that's Dr. Maureen coined that one. So within the human condition, there is that tendency to want to reap the benefits without doing the work. So I would love to have a 34-inch waist, but I don't want to give up cookies. Right? I would love to be able to bench press 200 pounds, but if I don't go to the gym, how is that going to happen? At least do a push-up once in a while. So, I think then this idea of spiritual but not religious means that I believe in God, but don't ask me to do anything. I believe in God, just don't ask me to do it. Don't ask me to get out of my pajamas on Sunday. Of course, now we have you online. Right? Or Oprah on Super Soul Sunday. Right? So we don't even have to do that. But I think there's something about getting up, suiting up, showing up, and really witnessing to each other what it is that we believe. And you don't have to say a word about that, right? So there's a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we can use it. This is the thing that we're demonstrating here. That's a main concept that we are demonstrating here in this particular center. Right? And on some level, we recognize that self-awareness itself is not enough. That spirituality has got to mean more than just having a vertical relationship with the divine. In order for us to really have an experience of the divine as life, there must be a horizontal experience. Right? So centering with the divine and recognizing and knowing there's a horizontal experience with my brothers and sisters on this earth plane. And that the places where I experience the divine is not simply where I hang out in the places where everyone agrees with me, right? Like my Facebook page, right? But in the places where people don't. Not in the places where I can see the glory of the divine in expression, but moving myself into places, maybe working with the homeless, say. Working in places where I don't readily see the divine at work, but I know it's there. In theory, I know it's there. But in my commitment to show up, I am now allowing myself to extend myself and to allow the divine to express in ways that up until now may not have been available. So if you think about how that works in our own life, right, then every challenge that we are faced with right now, every single one, is here as the vehicle for us to practice this teaching, which says there's a power for good available in the universe, available to everyone, so I get off my self-judgment and self-recrimination or what I think I should be doing, and instead love what's going on right now and to call that forth. Right? So we think about, the one metaphysical teacher that we're all familiar with, our pal the carpenter, right? He said, he didn't say pray for your peeps. Right? Who did he say? Pray for your enemies. So in doing this practice, there is transformation. Who is transformed? The other guy? Sometimes. But what's guaranteed to happen is that we are transformed. We are transformed because we are opening up to another expression of the divine, which up until now may have eluded us. So in this particular teaching, religious science, we are on this trajectory of innovation, really. We are constantly innovating in spirit. We call it evolution, but aren't they both the same thing? Innovation, evolution, they're the same thing. From the very Big Bang, that original self-originating happening, to where we are today. Consciousness, expression, as expressing. We think about thinking. What is the right, how is the right way to do it? What is right thinking? What is right action? What is my place in the world? If all is one and I'm practicing oneness and I understand the divine is within me, what about everyone else? It's there too. What about the discord that I am witnessing in the outer world? It's there too. So I am called to treat for my leaders of my country that maybe I don't agree with. I am called to treat for the good of the planet, knowing that it is all unfolding as divine right action in some way. That it's mine to treat for everyone in recovery to know that they can come to themselves and experience a sense of a higher power in their life that will propel them into ways of living where we no longer need to have false gods of any kind, which is really what an addiction is, if you think about it. And we're all addicted to something, even if it's to shitty thinking. If it's to stinking thinking. You know what I'm saying. So ultimately then, who needs religion? I think we all do, man. I think, again, it's a semantics thing. Maybe if we call it spiritual community, maybe that would be better. Right? Come together in common unity to have an expression of spirit. As you understand it, as I understand it, knowing that there's enough room in the tent for all of it. And what is the underlying foundation of all of that is love itself. Right? A commitment to allowing love to express fully and completely. So today is Super Bowl Sunday, in case you didn't know. Super Bowl Sunday, tens of millions of people are going to be coming together as community to watch ritual, spectacle, even belief systems. So how many people are going to stop and think about what the world would look like today if we came together for a Super Bowl of love? I'm guessing not many. They probably are wondering what the over-under is on the Eagles before game time. Not that I would engage in any of that. But how many people would stop and, what would the world look like if tens of millions of people got together in a big celebration of love? Now that would be transformative. So let's call our musicians forward. Take a deep breath with me. And considering this idea of stepping into the Super Bowl of love. So I'm going to a Super Bowl party. I enjoy football. Of course, the only true, absolute team is not in the Super Bowl today. Even as I treat for right and perfect recovery for Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor, so they're ready for the season next year. And for the right and perfect left tackle to make itself known. Seriously. So if you're going to be watching the game day, just take that one into it. So the Super Bowl of love, what would that look like? So I'm going to leave you with this quote, that the day will come when after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, and gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, we shall have discovered fire. See you next.
2, 3, 4.
Can you feel it in your bones? Change is coming on from every walk of life. People saying the lie. Can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. I've read about you, my friend. Ain't it time to come on in? Live the united way. Why don't you join us today? Reach out and take a hand, yeah. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and take a hand, yeah. Make a friend if you can. It's been reflected in the attitudes of others just like you. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. Every day folks are waking up to the need for one another. We're on our way, making the world a better place. Can you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and take a hand. Make a friend if you can.
Let's give Angela some more love, shall we? Yes. All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, Ken and the lads will take us into our offering chant. Call our ushers forward.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me.
Yeah, it's nice, huh? All right, so as we just go within for a moment longer, just recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so from the generous heart from which these gifts have been offered here this morning, we, representing the heart of this spiritual community, accept these gifts with deep respect, appreciation, and love as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the life of each one here this morning, the life of anyone connected to this center in any way, that we extend these good tidings to our friends in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is an expression from the very mind of the divine itself. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. This lifts our hearts. We are grateful. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So I'm wondering why it's so quiet. Oh, come on in, you guys. You're so quiet out there today. Oh, yeah? You want to come on up here? So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. You look good, man. So what you got there?
I have a mirror with positive affirmations on it.
Okay, like what?
So I wrote on my mirror, I wrote, "You are loved, awesome, fantastic, amazing, smart, talented, and cool."
Yeah, I would say that is so. Cool. And did you want to add anything to that and see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Why did I let you up on this stage? All right, that's right. But you are a Tom Brady fan. I remember that. He's a good player, huh? Yeah. Would you like to offer anything, Lucia? Okay, it's beautiful. Nice job. Yeah, you cool? Yeah, okay. Do we have any teens today?
Well, apparently they're all getting ready for the Super Bowl. So I had big teens with me today. Thank you, Leslie and Nancy. So we were putting together the Valentine's. So it'll be a candygram, and then we'll have a rosegram. Candy for $1 and rose for $5. So hopefully there'll be teens next week if they're not recovering from the Super Bowl. Anyway, thanks.
Right, so that's not like the candygram for Mongo that I remember. Yeah, boy, I guess y'all weren't around then. All right, so let's invite Reverend Nance. Thank you all for being here. Let's thank the band one more time. And Angela Carroll Brown. Invite our practitioners and ministers to circle the room. Remember Margie for Seva if you feel called to serve. If you need some, we got Judy back here with the cap on is our new lay pastoral care person. And Suzanne Jensen is our new head of practitioners. Any of these people with a sash will pray with you today if you need a little lift. A 1-minute miracle, not a 30-minute story. Just saying. Okay, here you go. Praise out.
As we circle this room in love, we circle it with the idea that we really appreciated this particular religion, a spiritual belief system in which we are immersed in. For we know together that there is but one life, one presence, one creative spirit, and it is really expressing as each and every one, no matter what the belief system is. The oneness of life is what we are embracing. And knowing that divine presence, that wondrous presence that is whole, perfect, and complete is in each and every one. We go forth to allow our light, our personal understanding and awareness to shine as we perceive and see the love and the beauty in every person that we meet. So it's with a grateful heart we let the law of the universe say yes to that which we place in it, as we say together, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. Six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you.